I went to film school, so we actually had
The
the
clapper.
clackers. Yeah. Well, and then if we forgot to do that, you could actually you would clap at the end.
Yeah, it's to sync
Yeah.
the audio with the video.
Yep. Yeah, we had like the big DAT recorders, and I operated many a short film in the Seattle area.
Nice.
So yeah, I guess I'll introduce myself. I'm Ian Prebo, also known as Savage Prebes, also known as Blackheart Honeymoon. And today we've got a special treat. We're going to be actually interviewing the man, the myth, the legend, Vandal, Vandal Digital, Vandal.eth. Yeah, and we're going to be talking about Rare Vandal and
Yeah.
just about just DAO records and all sorts of projects that we're working on.
Dope.
And we'll,
And
this.
we're flipping the script kind of here, right? So you're taking the interview reins, and I'm taking a break from being the interviewer to be the interviewee to talk about this rare Vandal extravaganza that we're waiting for gas prices to reduce to set into motion.
Yeah. All right. So you started in hip hop in the early 90s, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's when you got your can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. I guess like when I first discovered the tool that I started using to make music, which was a Roland W30. My mom had kind of always rented keyboards and different pieces of musical equipment from the local shop. There was Steve's Music in Long and McQuaid that would do like all these different rentals. So she brought home this Roland W30 keyboard along with like a sequencer unit and set it up. And at that time, it was probably 91, and I was like already a couple years into just like really listening to a lot more hip hop and underground radio, college radio. So shout out to CKLN, the Master Plan show. I managed to cop one of these. They shut down. There's no more college radio at Ryerson University anymore. But that was kind of the show that got me started, DJ X, the Power Move show. And I had like, some CDs that I got, some EPMD CDs, some Chuck D, Public Enemy stuff. And my mom brings home this keyboard sampler, and then she's like, "Hey, I got this thing. Come check it out." And I'm like, "Okay, what's this? Oh, sequencer. Oh, sampler." And we had 7 second sampling time. It was like, okay, let's go. So I like got to put a couple of loops together from EPMD and like Public Enemy tracks that I had from the CDs and just kind of mess with that. And I had such an awesome time doing it that I decided that I would borrow some money from my grandma that I would pay her back for my summer job. And I went and bought a sampler in 92, the same one. And that's kind of where it all started, I guess. I met two of my close friends who we started doing music together probably that same summer. And then I left the sampler with them while I went to Europe for a couple months, like on my first sort of solo trip. And then I came back and had already started making some beats with it. And then we just kind of created this crew that was the Cryptic Souls crew. The starting of it happened in 95, but yeah, it had its roots from like probably from 92 onwards.
Nice. So we've got your start on hip hop. Now what got you onto crypto?
Um, I think it would have. I'm pretty sure it was first Max Kaiser because I used to watch the Kaiser Report, and then was like talking about Bitcoin and Bitcoin and Bitcoin, and so I got a book about cryptocurrency, and then I was reading that for a little while, but it really wasn't until 2017. I remember the date; it was like April. I forget when in April. But I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was like, "Hey, yeah, I'm doing this mining thing," and he was telling me, he was like, "Yeah, have you heard of Bitcoin?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like reading the book, and I really didn't know how to get into it at that point. I was just doing what I was doing with the music and everything else, events and stuff, and he was like, "Yeah, I can sell you a bit of Bitcoin if you want." So I bought like half a Bitcoin from him to start out. It was 600 USD at the time for like half a
If
Bitcoin,
only.
and that was kind of my foot in the door. And after that, obviously the thing that he told me about was like some mining scam, and I lost like 0.25 of a Bitcoin on that, and a little bit here and there. But
Right.
yeah, that was kind of like my journey in down the rabbit hole, because like anybody who was around in 2017, they'll know about like the first massive bull run, and
Right.
that was
Yeah.
like starting from April into May was the start of it, and it was just like when I was starting to get in, and it was a lot of fun. Rode the wave all the way up. I got my mom in at 18K, and then my mom's like, "All right, I'm in." And then, of course, we have the massive crash, bear market, and now we're
Yeah.
finally back.
And how back are we? It's like 51, almost 52K USD today.
Yep,
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I know.
So after crypto, obviously you got involved in NFTs, right? In the audio NFT space especially. So what what was your first foray into audio NFTs?
Um, I guess like when I first discovered the NFTs with CryptoKitties, and that was like I kind of laughed at it to be honest. I was like,
Right.
what the hell is this? I was like, what? And then it dawned on me, and I was like, whoa, this is genius. In my head, I was
Mhm.
like, this is genius. And I was having, of course, all kinds of ideas of what you could do with NFTs, and I kind of like didn't really think of it much after that. But it wasn't until like late 2019, after I started getting into DAOs and discovered crypto art, that that was kind of the catalyst to be like, okay, we're here, we're finally here. The creatives have entered the space, because I was really waiting to see like when we'd have more creative people starting to work with developers and start to build stuff that caters to the creatives. And I guess crypto art's been around for quite a bit longer than that, but when I had discovered it, I thought, why not music? Why not
Yeah.
instead of just like visual art NFTs or animated or like MP4s? And there were a bunch of people already doing audio NFTs, sort of in a way, which was the one and only, the legend Connie Digital. Shout out to Connie. And seeing what he was doing, and then we utilized the Rareables unlock feature with our first audio NFT. That was it's been a year. I think we're celebrating the anniversary of that now, pretty
Nice.
much. So yeah, a year ago, pretty much today, yesterday, tomorrow. And that was like our first ever audio NFT. Not an official one, like, not connected with the audio file like they are now, but, you know, including the audio file with the NFT as unlock. And then after that, it was just like, okay, how do we get audio on these things? What, I don't see why we can't do this. And
Right.
talking to Mintbase, and then Mintbase was like, all right, let's do it. And Nate dove in, and it was like really, really cool. He just went after it, and then he ended up getting the audio player embedded, and we had a few issues with the type of player it is, but it's developed already now to the point where you know um, it's looking good. It's like, I think that the first phase of audio NFTs are here, and now it's just kind of looking forward to what else can we do after this,
Yeah.
and that's where we are at.
Yeah, it's funny because we're still like very much in the infancy of the adoption of these things as an art form, and already I'm seeing so many different artists, you know, jumping ship from these traditional methods of putting out music because they see how just the potential of this ecosystem, right? So now we're here specifically to talk about Rare Vandal, right? So when I Googled Rare Vandal, what came up was a $350 pair of Nike sneakers from 1985. But that's not what we're here to talk about. So like give me the like the broad brush strokes of the like it's a project, right?
Yeah, it was way earlier. Wait, sorry, what was the year that those Vandals came out?
It's at 1985.
85. Okay, so I was 10 years after that with these Rare Vandals. And this goes back to actually the first question, or one of the first questions that you asked me about, like, how did I get into hip hop and stuff. And back when I started making beats on the Roland W30 was where this project stems from. These are included in the Rare Vandal project are what I like to call rare beats. And there's 4 elements of rare beats. And then these are, they're going to be beats that were created back in 1995. So it's off of a cassette that I have of beats from the original Roland W30, which takes like 3.5 inch floppy disks that I don't have the gear with me, so I couldn't like pull up the actual file and run it out the keyboard like I used to. So I've got it on cassette. So I've ripped them from cassette, and then these are going to be the 10 edition of 10 Rare
Nice.
Vandal beats, rare beats, and there'll be four types. And my man Kays in Malaysia has created the artwork for each rare beat and for the final Rare Vandal piece. But yeah, like it stems from a Rare Vandal, technically, like a 1995 collection of Vandal beats from the Roland W30.
That's so awesome. So what you're selling these beats, and it's not only is it a collector's item because it's an NFT, but it could theoretically be something that another, like a hip hop artist, right, could take that beat and then use it and incorporate their music, right? Like,
Yeah, I guess it's more of not necessarily as someone could I guess someone could use it if they wanted to. That's okay with me. I'm cool with that. But the thing is though is that they're not for sale. They're going to be given away. I'm going to give
oh,
away. I'm going to give away all 10 of each series of 4 rare beats. And then what happens? This is like I've got 4 different giveaways planned, but there are different things people need to do to get them. So like it's like kind of like an adventure, right? So you're on the quest or the hunt for the Rare Vandal. Along the way, you need to pick up the rare beats, and you need to have all 4 rare beats in order to get the Rare Vandal. But not
oh,
every person
interesting.
is going to receive a rare beat. They're going to go out in different ways. So maybe if you're lucky, you can collect or get your hands on 2 rare beats, but then you have to figure out how to get the other 2. And this is sort of part of the experiment that was like I wanted to test out, is that rather than kind of sell these things and then have like a finale Rare Vandal along with the rare beats, they're going to be given away to people. So that's the plan. And, I'm hoping that like at least a couple of people get 2 of them. And then I'm curious to see exactly how one person is going to get all 4. What's going to happen? Are people going to give them up? Are they going to put them up for sale? Are they going to trade them for a different one they need or don't have? I don't know really what's going to happen. So this is the fun part for me to kind of put it out there, see what people do. Maybe no one gets all 4. Maybe the Rare Vandal just stays minted and exists in my wallet, forever. But we'll see.
I'm not gonna lie, like I'm probably gonna try to get all 4. Like I know personally, I'm like, this sounds so cool and like such a sick project. Like, why would you not want to own it, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so you get the, and do you have all these events planned? Like, is it like, do you have the, I mean, I always like to joke you're the hardest working man in the metaverse.
It's
So
kind of planned already. Um,
nice.
I'm actually past my deadline. And the only real reason why it's not out yet is really because of gas prices, to be honest.
Oh,
I want to send out, there's a total of 40 rare beats. So if I'm sending out 40 rare beats at this point, it's almost like $500 that I would be paying in gas, if not more.
wow.
And it's not like I'm not, willing to pay for the gas, but I just feel like it defeats the purpose of giving these away. And I wouldn't want to kind of put them up for people to have to pay gas to get it. So I'm just looking for the right opportunity in terms of the gas window, and also potentially, um, other options for release. Maybe on another chain, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Like, I'm still trying to kind of figure all of that out to see. I love Ethereum. You know, I
Yeah.
have to say I love you, but you're not my only bay. And
Now, is there a possibility that some of these beats could be wrapped like with other NFTs that are for sale? Or, I mean, I'm not trying to like spoil it, but
it's not really. I don't think there's really any spoiling to go more than what is already like been kind of semi publicly released. It's on the website, but it's not published on the website. But I've published the link to it in some of my tweets. So I think if anybody digs on Rare Vandal hashtag on Twitter, they could find their way to the page on DAO Records that kind of details the whole project. Um, then um, the yeah, so I guess, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. But yeah, I think the exciting part really for me is to be able to, I guess, just see what happens to it.
yeah, this is a really interesting project, and I'm kind of getting a little bit of like metaverse Willy Wonka vibes from it. Like each rare beat's going to be a golden ticket. You know what I mean?
Okay, I'll say this. I'm gonna have a parcel in crypto voxels. Um, I've kind of been working on it. I'm not the best voxel designer, metaverse designer, so it's still not really up to my standards of what I'd like it to be, but I kind of have the
Right.
idea. Um, but yeah, I think what I've decided on, which hasn't been set into motion yet, but are voxel statues of each rare beat that I'm going to do as a representation, and they're going to be like on a pedestal kind of thing, like that you would go into the museum and you would see the ancient Greek statues, and it's going to be like, not that I'm going to be look like an ancient Greek, you know, but to have that voxel statue as a representation of the piece, I think would be great. And I just discovered this awesome voxel artist that I want to have a chat with and see if they're interested in doing it up. I think
That's
that's a cool addition to the space, to crypto voxels, just to give it a different kind of feel and vibe. And maybe I'll even at some point sell those voxel statues if people are interested. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. That seems like a good idea. So we've got the Rare Vandal project, right? And this is sort of the bare bones. Like, what else are you working on currently in the metaverse?
Oh man, yeah, that question gets complicated because there are countless things that I've got my tentacles kind of playing around with and exploring and experimenting. I realize, so I've been doing a journal almost every night. I can't say every night because there were a few nights I didn't, but yeah, about like since the beginning of the year, I've got 45 entries in the journal. And last night I was exploring that same question and thinking about my inability, or like, I guess it's the curiosity in me to want to do so many things because I'm genuinely just interested. But then it comes to a point where you realize, you know, you might not have the actual like amount of time without creating an imbalance in your work life routine. And I've kind of hit that wall at the moment. So
Right.
rather than kind of taking on more things, I've just been looking at what are the key aspects of what I'm up to. And that really is kind of the DAO record stuff, with audio NFTs releases, metaverse events, weekly events. And then we have this music guild that's coming together soon. I can't officially announce it, I guess, but I can kind of say. it's a music guild, and there's that element. And then there's TYGS, which is the Think You Got Skills event series that I've been doing in the real world since 2009. And it's a hip hop battle series, and it's a vehicle for us to onboard more people into the metaverse, into NFTs, ranging from audio, visual, across to music, and maybe even, I don't know, some crazy stuff that hasn't been thought of yet.
Nice. Now, who are some people in the like metaverse, or crypto artists or artists releasing audio NFTs that you are inspired by, and why are they inspiring you?
I really loved what Mighty 33 did with his album and how he put it together, and it was really well planned, and you know, being a part of the process as well as featuring on one of the songs. Um, I really enjoyed watching his approach to doing this album, and really him wanting to kind of like analyze it, because he loves to like analyze things and look at how they fit together. And he's created this Miro board of like the entire audio blockchain industry, with all the different players and what they do, and like it links to articles, and I can see this like archive, and uh, that's been inspirational for me. His approach, of course, Connie Digital, and then Boombox Head. Shout out to Boombox Head, for bringing that VR elements into beats and music videos in VR, and tracks that he's released as audio NFTs and audio visual NFTs. There are a lot of people doing a lot of cool stuff. I think that is really inspirational for me. Um, I'm I'm just blown away every day at things that I'm seeing, and this is part of the problem of being an addict.
Mhm.
you know, it's like I'm craving to see what people are doing, and being a part of everything that's happening is just really exciting and reinvigorating. It's brought me back to when I first started making music. And I'm not actually having like all the time myself to be the artist, like I'm facilitating, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, this is that feeling that I had. And that's really nice. And to be able to feel that, it's a blessing, especially during these crazy times out there.
Yeah. So, how do you feel like the coronavirus has affected all of this, right? Like specifically like DAO records and the metaverse. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, I guess I'm of two minds when it comes to this whole global situation. Um, at the beginning, I didn't really like think of it too much of like a good thing. I was just starting to get into doing the whole DAO Records thing, right? But I also had all the things I was doing before with my events in Malaysia, and my life there, and what was happening, or what my plan was for the whole year. Like I had the year lined up and planned. But like everything in life, I think things happen for a reason. And I think for me, it was really that right time, right place moment, you know. And it was something that I'll be honest, I was trying a number of things with blockchain, probably from 2017 onwards, like trying to figure out how to, where I fit, where was my place. I did some work with a cryptocurrency exchange that was never officially launched in Malaysia as like a marketing, and I worked with the Access Malaysia Blockchain Association as well, as a member. for a couple of years, and just like kind of working within the community, going to social events. I performed as Crypto Santa last Christmas,
Yeah.
not Christmas this year, but or last year, but the previous year, 2019 Christmas, for Bitcoin Malaysia's Christmas party. And I came out rapping Santa, and I did my rap crypto track that I wrote. That was like September 2017 that came out. And I guess I was just always trying to find my place in the ecosystem, and it really wasn't until the pandemic essentially terminated everything else I was doing. And then I just kind of applied that to the space. So the first thing I did was the pop up, and then the pop up was like the event series but in the metaverse, the crypto voxels, and
Right.
I was like, yeah, crypto voxels. I didn't have a parcel, and I was like, I just talked to different people and said, hey, can we host our event at your parcel? And then just kind
Right.
of bounced around to different parcels. First parcel was Mint Base that we did. Mint Base was our first pop metaverse show for the pop up.
Nice.
That was in April. I think it was April 2020. Yeah, April, I think. Um, yeah. Anyway, it it really, I guess it was that timing of not being able to do anything else really, and then having to juggle everything. Funny thing, I traveled back to Canada in August, right? And on the day I arrived, well, the next morning, I had our first season 2 of the pop up event, like literally off the plane. And then setting up like on the table. I'm just at the kitchen table. I don't really have like a space. Yeah, I don't have an office. you know, I'm here.
Right.
I'm here with the family, and it's been interesting. This whole thing, but it has provided opportunity and perspective on life, and sort of a newfound community that have all like come together really, probably the same reason it happened to me for a lot of
Yeah.
us. And then we just kind of found each other, and found our tribe. And this is like the new sort of underground scene. In a lot of ways it's still underground, and we're going mainstream. I mean, it's already happening here and there with different things, but I like it. I like this. It's good.
It's I yeah, I had a similar experience. I think it's kind of ironic that like the out of this like horrible thing, this global pandemic, like I feel like a lot of people have sort of found a new purpose and found a new, like you were saying, community, right? Like we wouldn't be speaking here right now. Like I would never have, like, I remember Jonathan, who's a mutual friend of ours, and we, both work with him on different projects. It was like he would come to my bar. Like I was a bartender before that, you know, and then everything sort of unrolled and unfolded, and now I'm working with you on some of these DAOrecords projects. So it's pretty amazing how the out of it's like the phoenix rising out of the ashes. Like I feel like we've all made a lot of lemonade out of these lemons.
Yeah. Definitely, it's been a real blessing, and I've seen how it's impacted so many people around the world in different situations, and in a way, like crypto art, especially watching the scene blossom. It saved a lot of people's lives, really,
Yeah.
like literally saved their lives, and that's something for me that's like, I can't say that it saved my life, but it has definitely impacted me in such a positive way. Especially key moments, right? Like during this pandemic, there were key moments, and I think the biggest one during the time when I was going through getting ready to move, and closing shop in KL for the time being, before I get back there. But um, Rary did their airdrop, and that was
Yeah.
like the first thing that really happened, that was like, whoa, okay. Like, not to say free money, obviously you use a platform, it's a reward for being an early adopter of the
Yeah.
platform and using it. And we had just sold all 15 of our tune passes for season 2 of the pop-up
Nice.
like a week before the airdrop. So I had this fat stack of rarity
Mhm.
and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And you know, a lot of people got the airdrops, and in different situations that they're in different parts of the world, you know, these are definitely things where, you know, you get this reward, and you're thankful for it, and I definitely am. And then there were more that came after that. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
so it's been really nice to get how, what did people call it, stimulus
Yeah.
checks from crypto. Which is amazing, because you, like, how would you have ever thought that you could get value out of something that is like this, like, ever, like, before getting into these things? And it's just fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah. When you told me that story, it reminded me of the uni drop. And like I literally used, I was just like, I don't know what to do this. So I turned it into Ethereum and I bought 2 parcels in crypto voxels. And that was like my first foray into crypto voxels, you know. So that very moment was the reason why we're talking here right now.
Hmm.
Is there anything else you want to talk about, like projects that are coming up, or any like, is there anything that you want to cover that we haven't covered yet?
um I could go so many places with that question. But I honestly think that, you know, just being here now, and being present and being in this moment, and just kind of looking at all of the things that are happening in the ecosystem, I think is good enough. So if you're watching this, just, you know, see what's happening on Twitter, and follow the follow the path of the people to follow that resonate with you, and kind of you know, find your tribe. And if you're watching this, obviously you probably already know, you know, DAOrecords, myself and Ian, and all the stuff that we're doing. But if you're new to the space, you know, we are an amazing, open and sharing community. So don't hesitate to, like, ask questions, and, you know, get in touch, and reach out to us. I guess I would like to really just stress that, you know, we're here for the long haul. We're, you know, we're the hodlers ultimately, and we like to hodl relationships and community, and the spirit that exists now, because, you know, as more people enter the space, as businesses are created, as new platforms emerge, and the you know, the music industry kind of transforms itself using this technology, you know, we may never see a time like this again, right? We might not. I think that it would be, you know, sad not to just stop for a few minutes, and appreciate what's happening, and thinking about, you know, where we are, where each of us sit in this space, and what we want to do, and how we want to, you know, make it better for everyone. So I guess on those words, uh, that's kind of where I guess we could leave it there. I don't know
Yep.
if you have any further questions to build off of that. I'm happy to ramble on, but, you know, I don't know how far we're
Yeah.
in
I
already.
mean, I think it's yeah. I mean, I think we've been talking for at least half an hour. So it's one of the things like we could, if there's yeah. That's what I was like. Is there anything else we want to touch on? Because we covered the rare Vandal, kind of covered your starts in hip hop's, covered your start in crypto. I feel like that's a pretty good right. Like it'll flow pretty well right there, right?
Hmm. Yeah, I want to leave this all uncut, so this is just going to come. This is just going to be straight through. Um,
Yeah, and
yeah.
like it is definitely like I don't normally give interviews, so like I hope that I've done my job as an
Yeah,
interviewer.
you were awesome, man. And I think feel free to, like, even um, if you have an idea that comes off of anything I say that spawns a question, just jump in if there was anything that maybe you were like, oh, this, yeah, I'm
You
curious,
had
maybe let me know more, whatever.
you had mentioned a battle season or a battle like a rap battle thing. Like what was that again?
Okay, yeah, the TYGS. So
Yeah.
TYGS is a project that I've been doing mainly in the real world, and it's a hip hop battle series. It stands for Think You Got Skills, and coming from Toronto, I guess early 2000s, and into, yeah, I guess in the first couple of years of 2000, there was a massive rap battle showcase coming out of Toronto, King of the Dot, and it was like one of the world's biggest rap battle platforms. And
Really?
when I was in Malaysia, I was like, hey, man, look, we don't really have a rap battle scene over here. There's not really anything happening. And I thought it would be really cool to bring in the competitive elements of hip hop. So we started with this rap battle. That was our first event flow. And then we opened it up and we did a beat battle. And then after the beat battle, we started introducing some of the other elements, so that we ended up with DJs, dancers, as well as beatboxers and graffiti artists. So this was kind of an all-encompassing hip-hop battle series, and now we're looking at bringing it onto Web3. So this is
Oh,
sort of like
nice.
an exciting vehicle to onboard people, like different creatives from all 6 different disciplines, and bring them into a competitive global events using CryptoVoxels metaverse and different stages, and having these kind of fun activities happen through the season, and just kind of present not only an opportunity for people to get involved, but to this community that we're in now, and utilize some of the tech that we have, NFTs, social tokens, and that kind of stuff.
So are you gonna have metaverse rap battles?
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. Um, it's not necessarily maybe what's going through your mind, where we have like a little 8 mile setup in CryptoVoxels where people are there doing their thing. It may not necessarily work in a live fashion. I've gone through my head on the different ways that we could present it. So we're still trying to figure exactly how that's going to look. But most likely, yeah, I don't want to give it away too much, um, because I wouldn't want to spoil it for people who come and show up and watch it, the experience. But yeah, this is something fun that we want to take what we're doing in the real world and bring it into the metaverse, and see what happens. I think that it's always a good, fun activity. Hip hop being a youth activity, it's kept me youthful in a lot of ways. It's like kind of like the what do they call it? The fountain of youth, right? That's sort of been hip hop for me, in a lot of ways. And yeah, just continue on the tradition and bring it into the metaverse with this.
Nice. It sounds really really cool and fun. I'm not I don't know. I'm like picturing like are there gonna be like Zoom rap battles?
They do. I think they. I mean, I'm positive people are doing Zoom battles. Like that's something that is probably a definite. Um, but more so, I'm interested how we're going to have these graffiti battles in the metaverse. Like
Oh,
I I,
nice.
I
Right.
think that looking at the venues and the platforms that exist, I kind of have to re-examine how it's displayed, and how we actually produce it as like an experience for people. So there may not be that live element to it, but the experience will be live. So they'll kind of be a combination of things, and just kind of trying to think out of the box and how to present it all. So that's the challenge on my end. but I think that also makes for something fun and interesting for the viewer or for the audience and people who are there, and more
Yeah.
interactive.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like that's probably a good spot, and it's probably good length, right?
Yep,
You feeling
it's good
good?
to me. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I can go on and we could have like a 4 hour video here for everybody, but I like it short and sweet. So I think this
Short and
is good.
sweet. Yeah.
Thanks, Ian, for doing
Yeah.
this. And
Hey, thank you. Oh,
yeah, kudos to you, man, for stepping up and being the interviewer. You did awesome, and I appreciate you taking this on, and it's great.
yeah, it's been really fun to be on the interviewer side of things, like, and obviously I've seen you give a number of interviews now, so like I definitely was using you as an inspiration. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to interview you and ask you some questions, get to know you a little bit better.
Awesome, thanks, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah. This has been great.
All right, crypto voxels. I'll see you in my avatar form.